Today I'm down here at the well. I'm doing this video from my friend Jeremy up in Alabama. Hope you can hear me over the run of the engine motor here. Turn it off. There you go. This is my well. Ooh, there's a big spider there. Look at that sucker. It's huge. Big spider. We do have tarantulas here. What's really interesting is 4 years ago, my boys and I came, my older sons and I, and Thomas was a little munchkin then, and we cleared this all the way to the top of the hill. You could see all the way up there, and now it's like this. It gets overgrown so fast, especially the stuff we call Kila, which is this stuff here. It's a type of bamboo. It's native to Chile, and it's a real hazard to work with. This is called costillas de vaca, which means the ribs of the cow, and they're just a type of fern. They typically go where it's really wet, and of course everybody knows what raspberry brambles are, which are thorn bushes, which are no fun as well. But I gotta come down here with the weed eater and clean all this up. So, but I haven't been down here, I want to say, in 6 months. And none of this was like this when I was here 6 months ago. So it's really interesting to see the debris that have kind of come up on my well. Basically, I have this pump here on top of my wellhead, which is actually a spring. If Thomas can back up a little bit, I'll show it to you here. And then we'll have to deal with the spider. This is two 4-foot concrete culvert pipes. This is one, and then the second one is down here. And basically it contains a spring that's in there. And on top of this, of these two concrete pipes, are some clamshell lids, which are right here. Spiders. I don't like spiders. Scream like a little girl, yeah. So, I put these over it to keep the critters out, mostly spiders, obviously. And once a year or so, I come down and check it out. And sometimes, let's see if I can put that. Okay, say goodbye to that spider. So I come down to check it out. When I do have a problem, and I have had a problem, it's usually in the winter time, and what happens is my pipes will freeze. There's spiders jumping at me some more there. So it'll bust this pipe here. And what I have here in this spring, basically it's a contained spring, is I have a pipe that goes down and has a foot valve. I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. I got to finish cleaning out the top. But and then it comes up from the football into the pump, and it's not a positive displaces pump. It's a centrifugal pump, and this is a 1 horsepower motor, 75 kW, and or 0.75 kW. And what I do is, when this pump has a problem and it goes, it won't work. I'll come down here and I'll disconnect it. I'll cut it here probably, or here, and I'll disconnect it here, and I'll just put another pump in there that I have. I have 2 pumps, and one is a backup to this pump. It's a little bit bigger, so I really like this pump best. And then I just take it to a shop in Osorno, and they rebuild it for about, I don't know, 40,000 pesos, about 80 bucks, 60 bucks in that range, 60 bucks. Which is a pretty good deal, and they totally rebuild it, paint it, looks brand new when they're done. So, here's some old parts I have. Well, anyways, let me clean off the lid here, and we'll take a look on the inside of our spring. I keep a little cup, liter jug here, of old juice jug that I can use to prime the pump if I need to. The string's getting a little ratty on it. And we keep a little stick here always to push that cup underwater. So, let me clean up a little bit, and we'll be right back. Thomas has helped me clear off the top of it, and basically just today we're just looking down in here and make sure there's no dead animals in there. We don't have squirrels here in Chile, which is interesting in itself, but there's weasels here, and there's mice here and rats here. Rats are pretty common here, actually. If you want to come over and look, Thomas will give you a shot of what it looks like inside both of these pipes, and I'll explain what you're seeing. Alright, so over here is this ring. You see that where it changes colors? That's where one pipe goes, that's the bottom pipe, and that's the top pipe. And this orange thing, blue and orange thing that's floating down there is a float. When it gets too low, it turns off the electricity to the pump. And then once it fills back up, which it is right now, it turned off a couple of minutes ago because it was pumping it out, it'll cut the pump back on. And then I also have another float just like that up in the water tower, which is at the top of the hill, way up there. And that, when the water tank, the tower gets full, it reaches, the float will go like this and it'll cut the power off too. So you don't run your pump continually any more than you have to. It does really well. We had a drought 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, a really strong drought. A lot of farmers went out of business, dairy farmers, because they didn't have any water for their animals even. And our well went all year long, or our spring. This is actually a spring. And if you look down in there, you can actually see you'd have to sit and look for a while, and I don't know how the camera's picking it, but you can see it bubbling, and then you'll see the spring action happening on. It's usually a little cleaner looking in there, but when you take open the lid, the leaves and stuff fall in. So it pumps out of there using that foot valve, which is at the bottom of this blue line, up into my pump here, and from the pump here, it goes about 60 feet up the hill, and then into the water tower. There's our dog up there, Sophie. And then from the water tower acts as a battery. It stores that water energy up there for us, and we're able to use water whenever we need to. So, to answer questions, hopefully before you guys ask them a little bit, and please ask questions, anything I missed. Yes, I did have this tested, and at a local laboratory, it was 220,000 pesos, which then was like 400 and something dollars. It's probably a little less than that. It's probably like 3 something now. It came back okay. We do have a higher iron content, which makes some issues for my stainless steel tank, which is not really a stainless steel tank up in the second story of the house. But other than that, the water's clean, it's healthy, it tastes really good. It is very cold. I've not climbed down in here. I'll probably climb down in here, not this year, maybe next year, and clean it out, because you go in there and you scoop out the sand a little bit and whatever dirt's in there. But it's 58 degrees, so it's pretty chilly. Groundwater is chilly in Chile. So I always keep an assortment of goodies down here at the well, some extra pipe connectors and fittings, so that I'm down here at midnight, or we have a fire or something, then I have to run the pump extra strong or something, or change it out, or some emergency, then I got all my fittings here, and I have to go search for them. There's no reason not to leave them here. They aren't gonna get stolen or anything. And I leave a screwdriver and a socket here too as well. So I hope this answers some of your questions. Oh, other question I'm sorry I just thought of. I do not have water rights. I haven't purchased the water rights for this. And they do have water rights here in Chile, but the issue with the section of Chile that we live in is not that there's not enough water, it's that there's too much water. It rains like 8 feet in winter here, so we get a lot of rain, and we have too much water. So I really don't have to buy water rights. I could, just to have out of security, and that would cost me about $200 to $400, just guessing. And I investigated it, and I said I didn't want to spend that money. So at this point, we don't have water rights. You can drill wells here, and drilled wells are very common. It costs 120,000 pesos per meter, is what I've been told. and so and you usually can get water within less than 40 meters. Obviously a whole lot less if I'm on the surface here and I've got water bubbling up. So another interesting thing is this one spring here, and I've got about 4 or 5 more just like this that are not contained on my property. So if this one for some reason kind of dried up, or I needed more water for more irrigation, then I could easily go down here and contain those with another two concrete pipes like this, and we'd be underway. We'd have everything going. So I don't pay any taxes on this water. It's my water. It's Jim and Lori and Thomas's utility service that run this. So obviously if I have any issues, I have to deal with them myself, but I'd much rather do that than deal with a chlorinated, fluorided water supply from the city. So anyhow, I hope, Jeremy, this works for you, and if you got any more questions, please let me know. I keep thinking of things. I irrigate with this well a little bit, just our greenhouse and our tomatoes and our trees and stuff. I'm not doing commercial irrigation. I'm not irrigating my pasture or anything. But I think if I contained the other springs that are around the hill over there and 2 more over here, then I could probably easily do that. I'd have them all pumping at the same time up to my water tower. Of course, this is totally off grid. This runs on my solar system. It's probably one of my biggest consumers of electricity because it's really far away. It's a good distance away. I want to say it's probably 200 to 300 feet at least from my solar system. So anyhow, please comment, rate, and subscribe. I appreciate the comments, and I'll answer them as quickly as I can. Ciao from Chile Expat Family. Thanks for stopping by.